We begin by acknowledging that we are calling in from Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Mi'kma'ki, Maliseet, and Passamaquoddy peoples first signed with the British Crown in 1726. We also acknowledge, as African Nova Scotians and African descent folks, we have been here for over 400 years, and we honor and offer gratitude for those ancestors of African descent who came before us to this land.
Thank you so much for that, Vanessa. Good morning, everyone. We are here today to discuss the Prep Academy. We are supporting African Nova Scotian students with college and university preparation. So we're looking forward to the discussion today. If there are any questions or comments, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'll be recording and monitoring the chat as well, and any comments. We'll have opportunities to pause for questions. Before we share, I can introduce myself. My name is Ashley Hill. I'm the founder and executive director of the Prep Academy. The Prep Academy is a nonprofit that I founded in 2021 after doing a lot of volunteer work and supporting students. We decided to incorporate and make this, expand our reach. I founded the Prep Academy based on my lived experience as a student. I grew up in Dartmouth. I went to Auburn Drive High School. I was an honor student in high school and had a really difficult time transitioning. I didn't have any opportunities or experiences in my grade 12 year that prepared me or gave me insight to what college and university would be like. And as a result of what happened in high school, I flunked out of my first year at Dalhousie and failed a lot of classes. I've never failed at anything in any class before. That did a lot for me and my self-confidence, and didn't know if I could, pursue, but found Quinta Adams, who was an academic advisor at the time at Dalhousie, and she really stuck with me and supported me in graduating. Once I got back into working with young people again, I realized 10 years after I've graduated that a lot of the same concerns or procedures were still in place, and that there was a gap that needed to be filled. And so we created the Prep Academy to be a unique contributor to what our guidance counselors and our African Nova Scotian student support workers and our principals and our teachers, really want to do. And we come in as an added value and support to the work that they're doing. So that is a little bit about me. As I mentioned, so I went to Dalhousie University. I did a major in sociology and I did a minor in law. I focused a lot of my studies on social inequities, crime and criminal justice, and how Black males specifically, a lot of the social inequities around Black males in Nova Scotia. So that is me. I'll hand it over to Vanessa to introduce herself.
Good morning again, folks. I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. And so, yes, my name is Vanessa Hartley. I am an 8th generation Black Loyalist descendant, originally from Shelburne, but living here in Halifax, Milwaukee. Excited to be here and share a little bit about who we are at Prep and what we do. And so looking forward to hearing from you folks with the questions and for the time shared together today. Thank you.
Perfect. And we also wanted to shout out Kazin McKinnon. This is our full staff team as of now. Kazin is our student success coach and works one-on-one with students in schools. So today we're going to kind of get into some roundtable introductions. I thought it would be great to engage in conversation. We're going to talk to you about who the Prep Academy is, share some of our impact that we've had this last school year, share what our delivery model looks like, let you know what we're seeing in schools and what we're hearing from students. And then we have designed 4 interactive discussion questions that'll help inform our work around what some of the things that you're seeing with African Nova Scotian students. And so to kick us off, maybe we'll start really chill and relaxed. If folks want to go around around the room and share your name, your position, department, and maybe something you're looking forward to this summer, or something that you've done really fun this summer. Maybe I can start just by the list of names that I see here on my right. Can I start with Helen first? Good morning, Helen. She may not have been ready for me to call upon her so quickly. Good morning, Helen. I think I see your microphone off, but maybe we'll move down to James.
Hi, Jerry McDonald. I'm with the Department of Education here in early childhood education. I work in career pathways, as do some other people here, and our focus is really on career education, some of these transition programs as well. And what I'm looking forward to most of the summer, I guess, just having some vacation time with my kids. So,
Nice. Thanks.
And hi, Vanessa. I remember you from the U14 BNS team. So,
Oh, that's a long time ago. Wow, that brings back memories. Nice to see you again.
Thank you, James. Karen. Good morning, Karen.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Karen Dumais. I'm a consultant in inclusive education French, student services and equity branch, and I'm just here to gather more information about the Prep Academy and also look forward to working with you in the near future.
Thank you. Kim Duncan. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning. So Kim Duncan. I work with Jamie on the Career Pathways team at Education Early Childhood Development. My main role is a consultant for cooperative education. And I am looking forward to taking a little road trip this coming in a couple of weeks to Quebec. So just something different.
Thank you. Hope you enjoy your vacation.
Thanks.
Good morning, Sonia.
Good morning. I'm Sonia McKinnon. I'm a high school literacy coach with the Halifax Regional Center. I'm talking to you from beautiful Cape Breton. So I'm really enjoying being here with my family and spending some time on the island.
That's lovely. And Doreen, you want to join us, Doreen?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm back. My name is Doreen Millette. I am the elementary curriculum consultant with African Canadian Services, Department of Education and Early Childhood Development, and I am looking forward to spending time at the beach.
That's lovely. And Helen's mute is off but not working this morning. So I'll just read. Helen Desmond Morris is the corporate strategist with the African Canadian Services branch, and she's looking forward to vacation in PEI this summer in late August. That's lovely. And I don't think I missed everyone. So we can move forward and we can get the good stuff rolling. The Prep Academy. We are a community-based nonprofit organization, and we inspire and prepare African Nova Scotian students for college and university. We help students access resources and navigate processes. And our programs that we create provide students with culturally informed experiences, exposure, and opportunities, equipping them with the tools to succeed and chart their path forward.
And so I'm going to run us through a couple things here. So our mission is to inspire, motivate African Nova Scotian students to attend college and university and prepare them for their education journey, ultimately having the social and economical impact of historic African Nova Scotian communities. Our approach is to provide programs that are culturally informative and give support to students in providing opportunity and seeing themselves reflected accurately within the education systems, and as well provide a positive influence for African Nova Scotians, facilitators, and role models. We serve African Nova Scotian students in historic communities. The Prep Academy works to provide opportunity for African Nova Scotians, but do support Black Canadians without the exclusion.
Thank you for that, Vanessa. So what do our students experience? You're probably thinking, what does this look like? What does our delivery model consist of? We partner with certain schools. We go into schools and meet with students in group settings and one-on-one. We this past year have focused on grade 12s, and it was our pilot year, our very first year doing programming in schools with students. And so we focused on our grade 12 students, as that was the immediate need. Those are the folks who are going to be transitioning to college and university. And we really wanted to go in and find out what students knew, what they didn't, where they were in their learning, where they were in terms of their knowledge with college and university, and build from there. And so we offer online workshops as well, campus tours in partnership with our post-secondary partners. We offer a micro internship program where students get paid for a week to be matched with a career mentor in their field and an added resume experience. They go through training with different individuals, whether it be cover letter and resume writing, interview preparation, how to communicate professionally in an email, all of these kind of skills that they need to develop to get them career ready. I know a lot of folks are here from the Career Pathways team, and so it was really important to us that grade 12 students get to experience the careers they're interested in. And we've made a lot of great realizations. Students know they want to become a politician, know they want to become a dental hygienist, or completely know that that is not for them now that they've had the opportunity to experience the career. We are also planning a college and university expo to happen this fall, where we're bringing together some top 10 colleges and universities to one location and bringing all of our grade 12 students in to apply to their top 3 schools for free, and inviting any grade 11 students who want to apply to NSCC. We also have exclusive scholarships for prep students. So we've partnered with NSCC to offer 4 $4,000 entrance awards. We've partnered with the Peace Tournament recently to offer 2 $1,500 scholarships. And we are also working with Scotiabank this year, who are giving away 5 $2,000 scholarships for our grade 12 students. So if you can envision what prep looks like, we support students from September all the way through to June. That's when they get to see us in coordination with their academic school year. We go into schools on a bi-weekly basis. We spend a full day at a school. This is us at Citadel High School working with a student on my laptop, actually, applying for a scholarship and typing out his scholarship essay. But we plant ourselves in the school for a full day. Some schools were able to give us office space, like Dartmouth High School. They have the added space, and we facilitate group workshops, but we also spend the full day there so students during their off block can come and see us and get support. We make sure that the student support workers and the guidance counselors know when we're coming, and we follow up with them after every visit to share who we've met with, what the students are learning, and what progress they're making. So that is really what our students experience. But to kind of show you, we have a little video. So that was a snippet of our micro internship program. And I realized Vanessa and I are wearing the same clothes that we were kickoff event. But that just gives you a little snippet of students being matched with their career mentors in that specific program. We haven't released that video. That should be released tomorrow. We just finished that program at the first week of July, and we'll be running it again over March break.
I'm gonna walk us through our 2021 and 2022 impact. And so 60 grade 12 African Nova Scotian students registered for our program across the province, across Nova Scotia. 44 students were then impacted culturally with informative programs. 100% of students want to continue to receive the support from the Prep Academy and college university supports. 99% of students say that the prep has helped them better understand college and university options after high school. 15 schools currently represented in the province throughout the virtual cohorts. 100% of students wish prep was around to support them in grade 10 and 11 to provide opportunity to prepare for post-secondary. And 90% of students felt more prepared in their first year of college and university because of this information and resources provided by prep. And 100% of students recommend grade 10 and 11 students recommended participation in the Prep Academy. And so on the side, you can see a couple photos of us in schools assisting students with applications and scholarships as well. And the impact goes beyond the numbers. It's also creating a sense of community that can't be described. Providing representation in schools that allow our young African Nova Scotian students to feel included.
Thank you so much for that, Vanessa. That was a quick snippet of our interim impact report that was released in March. And I'm just going to drop the link for folks if you want to take a further look into that. And our annual community impact report is set to drop this Friday. Here are some kind of impact stories from students. We have Ty, McCullough, and Marissa. You may recognize some of those for those of you who work with students in the schools. I just want to kind of share, Ty is a really amazing student. He kind of joined our program really informed and knowing he wanted to become a physician, wanted to become a doctor, very interested in healthcare. Already had kind of a career plan in place or a development plan in place. But we still helped him understand all of his post-secondary options and introduced him to scholarships and support that will help him in the future with his education. We check in with students, we have the ability to check in via Instagram DM, wherever students are, however they want to receive their information, we can share that with them. Ty has been accepted to Dalhousie University and is actually part of their new African Nova Scotian Medical Sciences cohort that was recently launched. McCullough is, a really amazing student from Cole Harbour High and mentions, without these programs and services, a student like me could be missing out on very important deadlines, causing many opportunities for the years to come to be missed. And Marissa, who you would have saw also in our internship program, was really juggling between business or social work and wanted to take the opportunity to experience, she has her parents saying business, she has school saying social work. She really is interested in both and really couldn't decide, but getting the opportunity to participate in a program and partnering with a social worker like the ABSW, she kind of now has a more clearer vision on what her future looks like and what her options look like. And that's really what we do is we don't, we leave the professional academic advising or counseling in terms of course selection to the professionals, the academic advisors and the guidance counselors, but we want to show students what their endless possibilities could be like. And so Marissa mentions that she loves that prep comes into her school and sits down with her to fill out scholarship applications and give her help one-on-one. The extra support is really helpful and comforting. It takes her stress level down and knows that she can get things done on her own.
I was on mute. And so these are some of our community partners, some of our community folks. And what we're doing is we're establishing partnerships and making intentional connections to provide that one-on-one and kind of wraparound service that supports our students. So the list of folks we have already or are in the process of doing partnerships and MOUs. And so for an example, JA was a part of our internship as well and helped us with providing some content for our students and looking at goal setting. So it was, the internship was very fun. It provided a great dynamic for students to understand what they were kind of getting themselves into in terms of their careers, and the opportunity to kind of lead that project alongside with Ashley and Kazan was very fun, fulfilling, and very inspirational in knowing what our young leaders are up to and what they're about to accomplish.
We're looking at creating a partnership with Tribe Network to leverage and utilize their online digital platform to be able to communicate with students. We're working with the Faculty of Computer Science on increasing the number of African Nova Scotian students who have informed decisions on what computer science is. We're working with NSCC and hoping to replicate our model with NSCC, Dalhousie, and a number of different colleges and universities, but to waive the application fees for students, which is a huge barrier, and waive the registration fees, and potentially reserving a prep seat in programs so our students who are interested kind of have a confirmation of where they're going to school.
This is probably one of my favorite programs that Prep has run so far. And so this is our Student Advisory Council for the 2022 year. This is our first Student Advisory Council. And so it's made up of 9 current African Nova Scotians that are attending or have graduated at college university. The representation was quite broad. So folks had joined us from DAL TYP, the Transitional Year Program, NSCC, CVU, Carleton, St. FX, and Acadia University. And so students attended frequent meetings and to share their experiences as African Nova Scotian students in post-secondary institutions to help inform our program and services and ensure that they're reflective and support the entire student as a whole. And so a couple of the common themes that were noticed throughout our engagement sessions with our youth is the lack of representation in education. And so that looks like many things, but that was an overarching theme. And so how do we create safe spaces that are welcoming and inclusive for our African Nova Scotians in education? Looking at the experience of the transition between high school to university and college, and how can we increase culturally reflective supports in terms of supporting the diverse needs of African Nova Scotians in that process, as well exploring those needs a little bit deeper and understanding the intersectionalities and connections between who we are as African Nova Scotians and our education.
That's great, Vanessa. Before we proceed, I'll ask if there are any questions from the group, but I'll also share that our last year we worked with grade 12s. Our current year, this coming September, our goal is to start working with students in grades 10, 11, and 12. And our delivery model is very much a cohort model. So students who join our program in grade 10, we follow through grade 11, through grade 12, into college and university, and until they complete college and university. Students create a kind of career development plan, and we revisit that plan every year. And that plan consists of programs that they should explore, colleges and universities, fields of study they're interested in, extracurricular activities they could be involved in, and mentors that they should seek out. And every year we revise that plan, change it if needed, so students go into college with a more informed lens, and they don't lose our supports once they get there. They continue to be in our network, in our database, and continue being supported by a college and university student success coach until they graduate. I'll pause to see if folks have questions, and feel free, no need to raise your hands or just take yourselves off mute if there are any questions now. I do see a question in the chat from Sonia. I'm curious if you are getting a sense of what students are saying they need or what they may feel is lacking in terms of meeting their needs in high school. Absolutely. That's actually what we're going to get to on the very next slide. We'll show you some comments, some overarching themes of what we're seeing and how students are feeling. And I think that's part of our discussion as well, to see what you folks may be seeing. Any other questions from the group? If not, that's okay. Feel free to continue to drop your comments in the chat, if any. This is a quick snapshot of our upcoming year. We are currently developing curriculum. And I'm also, Sonia asked a question, I'm also wondering if things like the ANS cohorts are helping in high school. That's lovely. So to your question, your second question, wondering if things like the ANS cohorts are helping in high school. Are you referring to the Prep Academy's African Nova Scotian cohorts? Or because there's a few different cohort models that I know are within the high schools at this present time. But I can speak from my experience, and what we're seeing in schools is that they absolutely are. Students want to be the Afrocentric cohort like Auburn. So Auburn is not one of our schools that we are in this year. Last year we were in Cole Harbour High, Dartmouth High School, Citadel High School, and we did an online virtual cohort for students. I hear nothing but fantastic things about Afrocentric cohort. I'm noticing Auburn is getting a lot more of students registering for their schools because of the environment that they're creating with these cohorts. I don't think that I can speak to it from a personal perspective, as I haven't seen these cohorts, but I think the proof is in the pudding on what Miss Hudson is creating. Miss Hudson was my vice principal, actually. I was very lucky to have her. And I wish I would have participated in something like this. I think cohorts give students a sense of belonging that's very different from what they're experiencing. I think that the cohorts are designed with our students in mind. And I think that is the most differentiating factor when we're looking at all other models or procedures or policies that may be outlined, is were they designed with our students in mind, with our learning? And Kathy's question is, what regions or CSAPs are you in? So we had students, a large population of students registered in Cape Breton, Sydney Academy specifically. We've had students from like Inverness. We've had students from the Antigonish area. What we're finding, and I can just hop to this really quickly to kind of show you, is this. We really want students to, any student we engage with, to get the same experience in our program. And we found with the online virtual cohort, I think students were zonked after 2 years of online learning and classes and Zooms. I think as most folks have been zoomed out, I think they are kind of zoomed out. And so what we're doing is we're kind of shifting our delivery model. And we are going to be targeting Avonview High School and Cobequid Education Center, both have expressed extreme interest in working with us and having our programs there. Both schools are about 45 minutes or so in the opposite direction. And so we are able to get there and provide our in-person services. I think that the online virtual cohort model was a great pilot initiative. But when we look at what students were missing, they were missing the in-person presence, the in-person relationships with other African Nova Scotian individuals who can help them through every process. That relationship piece is extremely important, I think, is probably one of the largest things that are really setting us, or we're seeing success from, is the relationships that we're building with students. And we can support students while they're in schools, but they also set up Zoom calls with us on a Saturday at 6 o'clock, if that's what time they get off work and they're available, to register for classes. They will set up a time with us from 7 until 8 to register for classes or ask questions on a Thursday evening. So we have the flexibility to meet them where they need to be, and where they are. This is our new cohort model, and it shows that we would have 3 schools within HRCE, 1 in AVRCE and 1 in CCRCE. I'll kind of pause because I see a number of questions flowing through the chat. Marlene, in collaboration with the academics producing tangible and practical results. Well, thank you so much for that comment, Marlene. And Helen is looking for us to elaborate on what kind of curriculum will be developed by Prep Academy in comparison to curriculum development for specific courses in the public school system. That's fantastic. So we are working with a African Nova Scotian curriculum consultant, Rachel Ross, who is designing and helping kind of firm up and reframe our curriculum. So our curriculum takes students through everything from what is college and university, what is post-secondary, what is a college, what is university, what does this mean, all the way through to, understanding the differences between college and university, understanding and giving key activities on how to make a choice on what kind of school option you think would be best for your learning and best for you. We take students through a career development plan where they get the opportunity to really think of what are some top 3 options for careers that I'm interested in, and giving them the time to explore those options. We give them fun fact sheets about certain careers. We then can pair them with mentors. Our curriculum also consists of understanding what high school graduation requirements are, understanding what program entrance requirements are, every little minuscule detail that takes you from the start to the application, to understanding program requirements, to scholarships, what are letters of recommendations, what are, even things like skill development, how to keep organized, how to study, how to build relationships with folks that you haven't met in class, how to communicate effectively with the professor. We're really building that curriculum, and we facilitate that to students in our workshops and when we go into the schools. And our goal is to, you see here on the delivery model, a personal development credit. Our goal is to really frame our curriculum in a way that meets the requirements for a personal development credit, and that students in grade 10, 11, and 12 participating in our programs can earn a high school credit. By learning all of the things that they're learning. We have high school credit options for personal development credits or high school credits, the cooperative education. I heard that mentioned earlier on the call, but this is very similar, but designed specifically for our students. And so I hope that answers your question, Helen, in comparison to curriculum development for specific courses. I know that there's now a career development course that's being offered. And so we're not, reinventing the wheel, but just creating something specific for our students. And so we're really excited to be working with Rachel Ross and then with Donika Willis to put it into a nice package and a graphic design. And I think that, the difference there or comparison is that our curriculum is facilitated by African Nova Scotians who have gone through this process and can relate to students and provide support with that navigation. So we facilitate the curriculum, but then we get down to the work and we're there with students working through different pieces, whether it's editing a scholarship essay, editing an essay, and helping students package those pieces. So it's really segmented in that sense. And Karen asked, what supports do you provide to students on an IPP who want to pursue post-secondary education but have additional barriers to face because they most likely are not used to writing formal assessments? So that's a really great question and something that we're figuring out. Last year was our pilot year. When students registered for our programs, we asked them to specify what their current high school average was. We have a number of students who are within the 69 to 78% range. The majority of students. We do have some students above the 80%, and then a lot of students within that 50 to 60 range. We did experience some students who were failing classes, but still wanted to go. We had a number of students registered for at-work math, pulling high 80s and 90s, and not realizing that limits their potential, limits their options in sciences and health fields and math fields. We're realizing that students who don't have the grades don't realize the disadvantage to that, which is part of our reason starting in grade 10, 11, and 12. We, in our first year, did not have the ability to check students' grades, like through the, forget the name of the platform, but where you check grades with students and you're able to see the IPP statuses and things of that nature. So we relied on our guidance counselors and student support workers to support us in that sense. That's still something that we're working through and will identify and plan to collaborate with the African Canadian Services branch, early in September and October once our students register. But our goal, we have seen students who participated in our programs that were failing classes and really wanted to apply. And we have a number of students applying and currently being accepted to Dalhousie TYP. But it is still something that we have to give more thought and planning around students on IPP, because I think that's a bigger concern than what we can solve, right? That's not something that we can solve through our program, but I think it's a role that we have to play. And I think ensuring that we're collaborating with the right folks is really important on that. And Kim asked if we can explain the personal development credit. Sure. So the school board has a personal development credit option. Where folks, other organizations like the McPhee Center, I believe Hope Blooms, SHAD Canada, the Construction Association of Nova Scotia, all of these organizations have designed curriculum, and students are able to participate in a program outside of the school. The personal development credit, of course, the curriculum and the activities and how you grade students overall needs to be approved in an application that we plan to submit in February. But essentially, students, you're looking at this column here, grade 10 students would receive quarterly workshops, access to online workshops and campus tours, and in their grade 10 year would have to complete 27.5 hours. Same thing for grade 11. And then in grade 12, what we call is our working year, is 55 hours. They get monthly workshops, bi-weekly workshops, in-school office hours, campus tours, boot camps, one-on-one meetings, micro internships. And by completing our curriculum and by participating in our programs, with all of these hours combined, a student would earn one high school credit, like an elective credit, not required credit like a science or math, but as an elective. And James mentioned personal development credits are one of my areas of responsibility. I'm happy to work with you when you are getting the application ready. That's perfect, James. Thank you so much for letting us know that. I think a call early on to frame up and show you what we're looking at and what we're building and get some guidance from you would be fantastic. So this essentially is our new model, not just grade 12s. What we found with grade 12s is they were just getting the information, and that's an unfortunate piece. This work is, pulls on your heartstrings a lot, but they were just finding out about these options. And sometimes what we found, it was just too overwhelming for students. And as a result, they've removed themselves from the process and want to take a gap year, want to take a year, learn more, work, and then pursue college and university. And we know, I'm sure we all know the statistics on what happens when that gap year is established, which also is a question we get heavily is, are you designing a gap year model? What does that look like? I think when we talk about IPP support gap years, there's so many different ways that we could expand. And that's exciting to us. But this is kind of where students, what our development model looks like. And we have our curriculum planned out in a plan phase, a prepare phase, and a pursue phase. So 3 different phases that students move through and move through gradually until they graduate high school. Thank you for the engaging conversation and the questions. Feel free to continue throwing conversations at us. This shows our upcoming year: curriculum development, personal development credit applications. We're working to submit our charitable status application. We're working to add regional board members. It's important to us to have that regional representation, and we want to be intentional about the folks that we have on our board. We have some fantastic players right now on our team. We have a small but mighty board, four individuals, and we're looking to add some folks from outside of HRM. We're looking to onboard new team members. Growing our impact with students starting in grade 10 requires more folks to offer that one-on-one support. Getting into a college expo, our micro internship program, our campus tours. We have St. FX offering to drive their bus, pick us up, take us down for the weekend, do a unique campus experience for African Nova Scotian students. And our ultimate goal is to showcase students what HBCU, historically Black colleges and university campus tours looks like. I think representation is something that we hear and have been hearing repeatedly from high school students in our college, in our student advisory council. And I think, as a way to influence, inspire, and motivate students to want the same for themselves, we need to show them what it looks like. So maybe Vanessa, I'll get you to lead. We wanted to spend some time telling you what we're seeing in schools, what our students are saying, and what we're observing.
Absolutely, yeah. And so to Sonia's question, this is how we're going to kind of provide that answer. And so what we're seeing is students are only learning about college and university in grade 12. And so they're unsure at that moment what they would like to pursue in college and university or for careers. Mm-hmm. Students haven't met with their guidance counselors to discuss their options. Some students have shared that they haven't met or know their guidance counselor within their high school. Students are registered in math at work, earning high 80s and 90s, as Ashley has mentioned, and are really unaware how this can hinder their options in college and university in pursuing sciences, math, and nursing, and some of those fields that require academic course load. Students do not have the grades required to getting into university, but they're still applying, and usually they're applying past that March 1st deadline. And students are relying heavily on their support workers for support and navigation through college and university services.
Mm-hmm. We're also seeing an increased number of inquiries to support African Nova Scotian students who are out of high school looking to get back into college and university for the first time. So those students who graduated, didn't pursue directly after, and are now emailing us, asking us questions about how can I apply, what awards, what financial support can you help me navigate through this? And so when we talk about expansion and we talk about where we could support, I think this is another avenue that we have to consider. We're seeing online delivery misses the in-person relationship, as we mentioned. Students just, they ask us questions, but it's different. Students at the high school that we're seeing, we're visiting their proms and we're going to their graduations, and they're, running to us, calling us 7:00 at night to let us know they've got a scholarship. And so I think that in-person relationship is so crucial. We're seeing African Nova Scotian students registered in O2 that are missing the September 30th application deadline to NSCC. We saw that quite a bit, unfortunately. I find that there's a lack of representation of African Nova Scotian students in O2 programs and cooperative education programs alone. And the fact that they're missing deadlines, I think, is is crucial. You know, they luckily the students that we saw were able to get in to NSCC, but I think missing that deadline is super crucial. Students who are not in our program are still applying after March 1st. They're missing deadlines, entrance awards opportunities, myself included. That's my experience. And that's why the College and University Expo is going to be so crucial, where all of our students are coming together on the date we had tentatively scheduled is November 12th, Saturday, at like a, excuse me, at like a sportsplex facility, right, where we do a trade show and all students come and are able to apply. And we're seeing that students are not participating or being introduced in extracurricular activities at the rates of their peers. And I think, you know, when we've been at a school where St. Mary's University have come and they've brought cupcakes and swag, and we peek in and none of our students are there. We're hearing some school staff, you know, mention that they help the keen students, which, you know, that doesn't necessarily sit right with me. And so that's, again, is part of why we need to start in grade 10, getting students introduced. A number of our students are coming from single parent households. The oldest sibling their parents have not gone through this process before and are heavily relying on supports, external supports outside of the home to engage. I will add that one of our key activities is parent, guardian, and proxy involvement. So students may not have a parent or guardian at home, but they may have an aunt or uncle or a grandparent who is going to be their rock and their support system. And what we do when students register for our programs is they have to specify a parent, guardian, or proxy. And any information we give to students, their parents or guardians receive the same information as well. This year, we're planning on doing a prep night, prep parent night. Every school that we're involved in, we're going to work with regional educators, student support workers, and guidance counselors to host an event so students get an understanding of prep. Parents, get an understanding of prep, what is going to happen for the year, how we're communicating with them. And when we talk about a college and university expo hosting on a Saturday, parents are also invited to that as well. So involving the parent, guardians, and proxies in every aspect is really important to us. And maybe before we get to 4 discussion questions to inform our work, I'd see a comment from Kathy that the Career Pathways team would love to meet and share some of the resources, such as My Blueprint, Design Your Future, Nova Scotia Work Liaisons we have in schools that you may want to access to work with your students. That's fantastic, Kathy. I think we met before once during my time at the Black Business Initiative and would love to reconnect. Larissa Manning, I believe, is who you may have contacted at that time, and she is our board chair for the Prep Academy. And we've been exploring conversations with folks at the African Canadian Services branch, who is one of our main supporters around My Blueprint. And my brother is in grade 11. He recently went through an assignment, filled out some information on My Blueprint, got 4 to 5 different careers and had to do an assignment on them. My Blueprint has really amazing content, and I think if we could learn about that content and learn how to facilitate that from an Afrocentric lens to our students, that would be really important. But we'd be happy to connect with you, and we'll reach out today, Kathy. Vanessa, maybe do you want to start us off with some discussion questions? And feel free during this time to throw things in the chat, take yourselves off mute, but we'd love to have a discussion to help inform our work.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, that would be great. So our first discussion question is, what recurring themes or barriers for African Nova Scotian students in education are you currently seeing? And so please feel free to come off mute if you'd like, and just popcorn style, or you can check your answers in the chat as well. But I encourage folks to speak. Reoccurring themes or barriers.
Or anything that you are experiencing. Sonia mentioned lack of mentorship or representation in our system for ANS youth. Finding mentors.
I guess my question might be, or maybe like a follow-up question to that is, are there currently pathways for mentorship programs? Mentors and cooperative education house. There are many schools. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
The rural education experience can be very unique and different. Myself being from Shelburne and kind of some experience in the TCRCE, yes, definitely can be find it hard, those mentorships within education and within community as well. Absolutely.
We often say to our team when we have our group meetings about student updates, we meet frequently and talk about who do we see this week, what's happening next week, where are the students, and we got a comment in our final survey that was just completed in July that prep is kind of like, mentor older sibling that comes in and supports. So mentorship is a crucial piece for us and one of our pillars. And if there are any ways that any current avenues of mentorship that you're seeing or thoughts on how we can expand our mentorship avenue, I think please let us know.
Kathy, that was a huge one in our student advisory council, is knowing what programs and options are actually available to them. So the sharing of information was a key priority for our advisory council, and understanding what scholarships may live out there for them, and as well the opportunities that are living within education. Lack of school relationship with community. Absolutely.
Helen mentioned getting documents in and submitted, applications for scholarships. Oh, absolutely. I know. I was like pulling teeth this year with students, as much as we could move them along. Yeah, that was something we're going to start in grade 10 and 11. Deadlines. We're actually designing right now an Afrocentric agenda. So if you're like me, I have everything written down, and we're going to design something that has, important scholarship dates, deadlines that can't be missed, and getting students in the practice of writing things down and checking things off, and hopefully that gets us somewhere. But lateness in getting documents was huge that we saw this year. Access to post-secondary transportation, especially in remote areas. Absolutely. Yeah, we often find ourselves picking up students and dropping them off to a lot of programs and events because they just don't drive. They don't have vehicles of their own, where a lot of their peers may. They do have those parents who can purchase vehicles or access to different things. Lack of school relationship with community. That's a big one, James. We're trying to bring community into school, if you can kind of envision that. We're trying to, we often say we're a unique contributor, but we're trying to build bridges in so many areas, whether it be with community, with parents, building bridges with students in post-secondary institutions. So Sonia's question, so I'm curious if you specifically focus on African Nova Scotian students, or does your programming also include students of African ancestry in general? It's a great question, something that we have been going back and forth with as an organization. When we originally designed our organization, and we do target, our main focus is targeting African Nova Scotian students with ties to historic African Nova Scotian communities. So that means that your parents were born here, your parents are from one of the historic communities and that you have ties to that. That is our primary target audience. However, if we have the capacity to take students, we will, but not at the exclusion of African Nova Scotian students from historic African Nova Scotian communities. So for example, when we start recruitment early September, we will be recruiting students that are from historic communities. Our delivery model says that we can hold 10 students at one school in one grade. If we get 7 and we're in communication with the student support workers and they tell us how many students are registered in their schools that are part of their program. If there are 7 students and we have the capacity to take 3, as long as those 7 African Nova Scotian students are in, we do have the capacity to support 3 students who are African Canadian, the African ancestry, but not at the exclusion of those of historic communities. And I just wanted to Kathy's point, I'm just going to do something. We didn't plan for this, but I'm just going to do this really quickly. This is our website, theprepacademy.ca. I'm just going to drop this little note in here. You can find our team and board, our contact information here as well. I'd love to hear from any individuals. We're also really building a resource hub. So when we think about options, programs, we really we're actually about to revise this and have an option where folks can post an opportunity. So we have, for example, Clean Foundation that has opportunities. Grow Where You Are Planted has opportunities. There's an endless amount of opportunities. And so if we can support students and give them kind of like a resource hub to scroll through and look at opportunities, but we're currently revising this. But this is something that we're currently building in partnership with the Black Educators Association. We are also establishing an online scholarship directory. This is going to get a little tweaked based on some feedback we had from students last year, but a list of awards that are not specific to African Nova Scotians, but awards for every student. We want our students applying not just for the Black scholarships, but for every scholarship. I just wanted to kind of show you that information because that's something we hear quite often is not knowing where to find it. How do you find it? Where is this information? Who keeps it? And I think we're in a unique position because we have an audience of African Nova Scotian students who are going to be ready for the workforce, who are ready for college and university, ready for these opportunities. And by creating those intentional partnerships with organizations to share their opportunities with our students, I think this is a great way to do that. Maybe we'll go to our next question. And if there's anything else that comes to mind for you, but what are the top 3, although we know that there are more, the top 3 needed supports for African Nova Scotian students? If there's anything else that kind of comes to your mind, and this information is so helpful to us because you are doing the work, you're seeing these things. And I think if we can take as much information and build it into our programs, we'd all be successful. Any other supports that may be striking to you? Yeah, the visibility piece of successful African Nova Scotian folks and connections to them through mentorship. Yeah, seeing financial assistance, academic support, and a network of supports. Yeah, financial assistance is huge. I think also for parents or guardians to know what financial planning is for college and university, which is part of our curriculum as well, taking students through a financial preparation model, learning about credit, that if you get approved for a $20,000 student loan, don't eat it with, food and clothing, but to really invest in yourself and kind of switching their mind frame to you're investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. Regular check-ins to see how they are progressing, goal setting. Like you seem to already be focusing on face-to-face contact. Yeah,
we've recently in the micro internship did some work around goal setting, and it was really interesting to learn the perspective of what kind of was encompassed in their perspective already around goal setting. And so we looked at, SMART goals, but also making short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals and how that's very impactful in creating some change, but also knowing that you don't need to stick to a path that might not be straight. And so I love that little comment, because it kind of left me feeling really full in knowing that folks understood, okay, my path might not always be linear, and it can change along the way. Writing skills, yes. APA.
Yes, writing in academic context. Mm-hmm. Good gosh, that would have served me so well. And when we talk about campus tours, we don't necessarily do your general, this is the library, this is this building. It's like, this is the writing center. Let's spend 15 minutes with someone at the writing center to tell you who they are, how you help, how you book an appointment, follow them on social media. Here's their website. Here's brochures. Like, this is a service you definitely need to access. Networking opportunities, absolutely.
And that's something that we hear a lot as well from our college and university students, is that they would love to have more opportunity to network with like-minded individuals or folks that are in their desired career paths. And so we had the opportunity to take a handful of students to the spring dinner that presented by the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And so we actually did that. We had networking opportunities. Students were engaging with a variety of health professionals, leading health professionals. Mm-hmm. And yes, I got to kind of enjoy the room and the energy and meet some like-minded individuals and have great conversations.
They showed up in pantsuits and blazers, and it was a really great experience. We're developing those intentional partnerships so that we can have space at those events. And we brought students in college and university interested in health. They met the Minister of Health. They met the Dalhousie Dean of Medicine. Once they get accepted to a program, having them paired with a mentor on campus who will meet them regularly to guide and encourage them. So true. When we talk about our partnerships with Dal Computer Science and the Faculty of Management and individual faculties, this is an avenue we're exploring. We're definitely exploring this avenue. Even, once they get accepted to the university on a PD day, taking some students and being matched with a mentor and following them for a day.
That's interesting, Ellen.
Sometimes our African Nova Scotian students do not apply for a scholarship the next year because their marks are not great. However, they are still eligible as long as they are not on academic probation. It would be beneficial if they called to ask instead of just not applying. So important. We have a CRM database is how we manage our case management, quote unquote. And so any students who are in our database automatically move from grade 12 into first year, or we update their profiles accordingly if they are not pursuing. And so it's very easy for us, and I think we've talked about this, Helen, is doing like an info session, making sure students apply. I didn't know this when I went to school, so I didn't apply for the awards, but definitely valuable information for us to have in our pocket and build into our curriculum for scholarships to let folks know. If there are any other thoughts that continue to, we're keeping all of these comments, maybe we'll move on to question 3.
For sure. We'd love to hear what are some common disconnects between the internal and external supports for African Nova Scotian students.
We've seen programs at schools like our friend Asia at the Cole Harbour High with Nova Scotia Works. We've seen, health centers. We've seen junior achievement. Are there any common disconnects? Either force that supports for students or disconnects with staff. We want to make sure, with schools, we want to make sure we're being mindful about those disconnects and kind of.
Yeah.
We'll maybe pause for a moment to help folks. Access to information on the student. Yeah. Something we faced this year. We had some students come into our program and, I want to apply to St. Mary's and I want to apply to St. FX, and these are the programs that I want to apply for. Or these are the things, I want to do social work. And then we help them apply, and then we let the guidance counselor know, and the guidance counselor says, oh, well, they're failing. Not having that information, confidentiality, privacy issues. We're hoping many people who work in schools daily are not aware of specific supports for African Nova Scotian students, so cannot refer or guide in ways that may be more beneficial. Yeah, so maybe, in terms of when we connect with individual schools, not just letting the principal and vice principal, guidance counselor, but there are teachers, other support staff who we should be connecting with to let the entire school population, staff population know who we are and how we're here to support and how they can refer. It's a great comment. We're hoping to teachers see students sometimes 80 minutes every day. We're hoping to rectify the confidentiality and privacy issue with our revised parent guardian permission form, giving us permission. And communication can be a huge disconnect.
Getting information about content students.
Thank you for that. Keep those comments coming if there's anything else, and maybe we'll skip to question 4. Which is my question? Is this mine? What advice would you provide the Prep Academy and how we support students? If there's any other advice you'd like to share, supporting students, establishing relationships with school staff, balance support with fostering independence. Yes.
Yeah.
So crucial. We can't handhold we can to a certain point. The goal is that students are then able to do for themselves and are in the position to do that when they get to college and university. They get a little bit more independent because we've shown them how to do things. Celebrate and advertise, promote student success. That's a great comment, James. Possibly looking at some touch points in grade 9 for high school selection. That's something we're going to pilot this year. Invite staff from the department to speak to students about scholarships, 100%. Yeah, I think Helen will continue to brainstorm about that. I think we can do a little online how-to, but also, when sometimes we just have workshops where it's just like we're putting music on and we're getting scholarships done as a group, and to invite you to come in to do that, to answer questions, to help students guide would be fantastic. To James's point, one of our board members is Malik Adams, who is an African Nova Scotian guidance counselor at Citadel High School. And something we're going to pilot this year is a grade 9 workshop for parents and students, mainly targeting the parents, to know what academic or college and university track courses are before high school. I think students select classes in March. And so piloting something where we can share that information and answer any questions with our 5 schools that we plan to work with this year. If there's any other advice that comes to mind, maybe what I'll do now is drop my email. Kathy, connect with Youth Pathways consultants. They can be a valuable resource that can connect you with teachers. Thank you for that, Kathy. I'm going to add my email and Vanessa's email.
Thank you.
In the chat, which is also, here. And we just wanted to, thank you for your time, give you our contact information. These are our prep lines, prep cell phone numbers. You can call, text these numbers. These are our email addresses. We wanted to thank you for the time and hope that this was helpful. This is our first time participating in the Summer Learning Academy. We don't know what other groups do, so we we hope by adding in some video content and some questions, we were able to keep you engaged. And I'll kind of see if there's any other comments, thoughts, questions from the group. Feel free to popcorn style. We'd love to hear your voice. I'm sure you're probably tired of hearing mine. Or feel free to kind of throw some comments in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. We're hopeful. We would love to be back next year. Doreen, keep us in contact. This is how you connect with us. Feel free to check out our website, connect with us. We'd love to hear. I think we have the emails from Kathy, James, who have registered for this session. So if we have that contact, we'll be following up with you today, because I think there's some conversations that we can continue from this session. And I think that was our goal, is to, allow folks the opportunity to get to know us a little more, learn more about the work that we're doing, and help us continue to navigate and grow our impact with students. So thank you very much. I think that kind of concludes our session, and I know the majority of you are on summer break or enjoying your summer, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of the summer. We're in August already. You'll be back in full swing before you know it. Doreen, maybe I'll throw it to you for any final comments or.
Ashley and Vanessa, I was reading the comments. Congratulations, you did an excellent job. Thank you for the work that you do, and wishing you continued success in the future.
Thank you so much, Doreen. Enjoy your afternoon, everyone.